Hi! Welcome to our video. Today's video will be a reading vlog, and I haven't done one of these in a long time, and I've missed talking about books as I'm reading. So in this vlog, I will be reading some new releases that I've been looking forward to reading, and I'm starting with Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan. And I know I'm about to start a book called Summer Romance. It is September, and my house is decorated for Halloween, but that's just what life has thrown at me, okay? I wanted to start this vlog in August, but it just didn't happen. So we're reading Summer Romance in Halloween clothes, and that's just how it's gonna be. I actually don't know what this book is about. I just know it's like a summer romance. So I'm gonna start reading it, and then I will talk about what it's about. I've read one other book by her. I read Same Time Next Summer, and I wasn't a huge fan of that one. I liked it, but there was just some gray lines in the relationship that I just didn't really like. Hopefully this one doesn't have stuff like that, and I will like this one better. So yeah, I'm just gonna start reading. So it's the next day. Yesterday Cypher, stop! That is not a toy! Let go! Let go! Oh my god. There's a strap on my camera, and she was about to yank it off the coffee table. Cats are too much. Anyway, yesterday I got to page 138 in Summer Romance. It's kind of a short book, so it's almost halfway. There's a little over 300 pages. Anyway, I can tell you what this book is about now. As soon as I started reading it, I kind of it jogged my memory of hearing other people talk about the book. But basically the main character's name is Allie. In the past 2 years, her mom died and then her husband left her. So she is a single mom to 3 kids, and she's, doing her best to get by. And part of that involves, living in sweatpants. But one day she puts on hard pants and goes to the dog park with her dog, and her dog pees on a guy's leg, and that is their meet cute. And so, yeah, I'm actually really enjoying the book. It's really cute so far. It has a lot in it, because there's a romance plot, but it's also Allie going through her divorce and grieving for her mother, and she has a best friend, and she has this neighbor, and I don't know, I'm really liking it. I'm not sure if it is a small town per se, but it's definitely a cozy town. I don't know if it's a beach town or not, but there's definitely a body of water. So it's there's walking distance to places, and she goes on a boat and she does paddle boarding, and it just gives cozy summerness. And I am reading it in September, surrounded by my Halloween decorations. But I'm still enjoying it because the weather's still pretty warm where I live. So yeah, this book's really cute, and I look forward to reading more tonight. Please ignore how I look, because I'm literally in bed crying because of this book. I'm on my phone right now because I was literally just reading before I was going to bed, but this book is making me cry. I've been crying so much reading the end of this book, and I love it so much. And my cat is looking at me like I'm insane. But this book is so good, and I love it so much. I don't have any thoughts right now. I just wanted to say how much I love this book, and I'll talk more about it when I'm not crying. This is my view. There's a cat here, and there's a cat there, and there's a dog there, and they all think I'm insane for sobbing over this book. This book is so good. It's so good. Okay, so it's been a couple of days since I finished Summer Romance. I think I'm ready to talk about it. Obviously, really love this book. It's so much more than a summer romance. It does it such a disservice to call it a summer romance because it has such depth to it. I love this book so much. I love the way it depicted grief. I loved that it depicted someone going through a divorce and how it depicted a single mom, and I love how it had all of these things in it that people go through, and how this one woman was going through all of it. And I really love this book. I really love the main character, Allie. So good. And the romance was good too. Like, everything about this book was just so good. Like, I literally can't think of a single thing I did not like about this book. Easily 5 stars. But I did want to talk about like I said, I really like the depiction of grief in this book. And I especially liked a little line in the book. I'm not sure how many people would recognize it if they didn't already know. So I'm going to talk about it because I really liked that this was included. As someone who's lost loved ones, this was really nice. And so there is a line on page 206 that says, "The bright red wing of a cardinal passes in my peripheral vision, as so often happens when I think of my mom." So whether you believe in stuff like this or not, I think it doesn't matter whether you believe or not. I think what matters is that it's comforting to people who lose someone. So a lot of people who have lost a loved one have reported that they see a lot of red cardinals, and it makes them feel like their loved one is watching them. And it's comforting whenever they see a red cardinal, because they think of their loved one and they feel like their loved one is checking in on them. Again, if you don't believe in that, that's fine. Like, you do you. But it's comforting to those that do believe in it. And I did not know about that until my aunt, who I was very close with, was diagnosed with cancer a couple years ago. And so she started doing, reading and just stuff to help herself like come to terms with the fact that she was dying. And so she told me about it because it was comforting to her, and it's something she had experienced before, but with a butterfly. My dad, so my aunt's like little brother, passed away 10 years ago, almost 11 years ago. And even like starting at his funeral, like at the cemetery, there was a blue butterfly that like was flying around my aunt and their siblings, and she kept seeing that blue butterfly, over the years, and it made her feel like her brother was watching over her, and it brought her a lot of comfort. And it brought her a lot of comfort while she was battling cancer, that she felt like she could watch over her loved ones. And so if I ever wear like tank tops and videos, I don't know if you've noticed, but I have a tattoo like on my shoulder of 2 blue butterflies, one for my dad and one for my aunt. And I got the tattoo 3 years ago now, but I got the tattoo before she passed away, so she was able to see it, and she really liked it, and she liked the meaning behind it. And yeah, so like I said, as someone who has experienced losing a loved one and has experienced grief, I really liked in general how grief was written in the book, but I also did really like that inclusion of the cardinal. I'm pretty sure that was the author's intention, because if not, that would be a really weird coincidence. So yeah, whether you believe in it or not, I think that was a very special inclusion of this book that the author did. And yeah, I really, really love this book. 5 stars. So much more than summer romance. Read this book. But yeah, now it's time to read the next book, which is going to be another romance, and it is a novel love story by Ashley Poston. This is the author that wrote A 7-Year Slip and Dead Romantics. I read 7-Year Slip last fall. I don't remember if it was September or November, but I read it, around the time that it is now, and I really loved A 7-Year Slip. I haven't read Dead Romantics, but I am looking forward to her new release. Please ignore Bailey licking my arm. He really likes licking arms for some reason. I know a little bit about this book. So from what I've heard about this book, the plot is that this woman gets sucked into her favorite book. The back of the book says her car breaks down, and it says that she's in the town that's in like the novel she likes. And that's just like every bookworm's dream, like being sucked into a book that they like. I have heard mixed reviews about this book, so I am interested to see what I think about it. I don't think it's gonna top A 7-Year Slip, definitely after the reviews I've heard, but it's possible. And the cover is really cute. So yeah, I am looking forward to starting this one. And yeah, so I'm gonna start reading, and Bailey is just gonna keep licking my arm, just in a different location. feel like I'm always updating this reading vlog with wet hair, so I'm sorry, but here I am again with wet hair. Anyway, it's been like over a week, I think, since I've updated this vlog. It's been a week. But anyway, I am about halfway through a novel love story now. I'm on page 200 exactly. It's like 350 something. I'm not enjoying it a ton. Like, I don't think it's bad, but I feel like I agree with all the reviews I've been seeing about this book. And I feel like a lot of people really loved 7 Year Slip by this author, me included. And we all had high expectations for this book, and it's just not meeting those expectations. So I feel like if I read this one, not having read that one, maybe I would feel differently. Bailey also has wet hair right now. But yeah, I agree with a lot of the reviews I've been seeing about this book. One of them being with the plot being a woman is put into her favorite book world. It's hard to find the same excitement as the main character when you don't know the books that she's talking about. And she describes the books and tells you plot lines from it and explains the town and the significance and the restaurant she's going to or whatever, but it's just not the same as like knowing it. And so it's just kind of hard to connect with the character on that level. And honestly, it just kind of has been making me personally just feel a little sad, because I feel like I don't have a favorite book the way she talks about this series, because this series that like the main character is like, and she's in the town, that series is so important to her, and she's read it over and over again till like the spine is like falling apart and the cover's hanging off, you know, like it's a really well-loved series, like to the point where she can look at people in the town and tell you what character they are, even if they're just like a side character that like runs the diner or whatever. And she like knows how to get around the town from reading the books. Like she knows these books so well, and I don't have a book that I revisit that way. Like the closest I have is like The Hunger Games. Like I read that series probably 3 times a year, but it's not the same, because while I love that series, it is really depressing. And that is not, it's a comfort read in the sense that like I love the characters, and there are some moments that do make me like laugh and smile, and there are parts of that series that do make me happy, but there's also obviously a lot of parts that are very sad, obviously, if you know anything about The Hunger Games. And it's just not the same as having like a comfort read that's like a romance, or even just like a fiction, a regular old literary fiction, whatever. It's not the same. And it just makes me sad, because I don't have a book that makes me feel the way the books in this book make her feel. And so I'm just reading the book like contemplating life and how I read. And I've had 5-star reads that I do love and that I do talk about a lot, but it's not the same way she talks about this series, you know? So that's not even that related to this book. That's me talking about myself, but it's thoughts I'm having while reading the book that are possibly affecting how I'm liking it. I don't know, but it's not that I dislike the love happening in the book, but this is another thing I saw in a review, but I definitely agree with it, where it's like there's like nothing really happening between them, and then all of a sudden there is. They're very like grumpy and dislike each other, and then all of a sudden they're into each other. And if I have to read the description, his minty eyes, one more time, I swear to God, like once or twice is fine. Every time he looks at her, it's with his minty eyes. And it's driving me insane. That's a side note. Anyway, yeah, I'm not loving this book. I don't think it's bad. It's just kind of mid, and I'm ready to be done with it, and possibly that's why I'm reading it so slow. Like I said, I've had like kind of a rough past week, maybe even week and a half. I really don't remember the last time I updated this video. So I don't know if it's because I'm not enjoying the book, or if it's because I've just been dealing with stuff that I haven't felt like reading. I don't know, but I really want to be done with this book and get to the next one I have planned for this video, because I think I'll like that one a lot more. I'm also just ready to get into my fall reads. Obviously, like I've said, I'm like decorated for Halloween, and I have my fall reads just like stacked in my room ready to go. And I have my Halloween wine glass ready to go. I'm using it right now, and I'm reading a silly little romance book. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get at least an hour of reading done tonight. We'll see when I get tired. So those are the plans. I have finally finished this book. And my opinion did not really change. I did not really like it. I have been trying to like summarize in my head like what I want to say about this book. And what I said during my like halfway update still stands. Especially the thing about the minty green eyes. Because I swear to God, every time eyes were brought up, it was minty green eyes, minty eyes, just always minty green, never just eyes. And then in like one chapter, she used 3 different colors to describe them. Near the end of the book, they were green eyes. And anyway, that brings me to one of my critiques that I think I've articulated is that this book, it really needs an editor to go through it. And I'm not just talking about the minty green eyes thing, though I know if an editor was doing their job, they would not have let that slide. I just feel like the pacing is really weird. It's really redundant in a lot of different ways. A lot of descriptions were used over and over again, not just the minty eyes, but describing him in other ways too. And then also I noticed like little things. Another thing that happened, which is like, this does happen in books, but like it is like another like example of needing an editor, it was like the scene where she was like, I got up and threw $20 on the table and followed him, and then like 2 paragraphs later it was like I threw $20 on the table and walked out the door. And it's like, that's such a simple mistake that an editor would have caught, and that shouldn't have made it into the final copy. And I know I've read books with like stuff like that in it before, but it was just like a lot of examples of needing editing that like really bothered me. And another thing that bothered me about this book was that it's like she was supposed to have all this growth and like change as a person and like overcome stuff she was dealing with, and it's like she did, but I feel like I didn't see it. I didn't feel it. It was just at the end she was like a healed person or in the process of healing, because I feel like usually in books you like see the main character going through things and you can like slowly see them heal. Like for example, Summer Romance, I felt like I was going along with her in the journey. And this book, she spends so much time talking about the characters in the town that are like from the book series that like I saw their plot lines. I saw their conflict and how it got resolved, and all their plot lines like made sense and hers didn't. Like I feel like I did not see that in her plot line, which is like she's the main character. And yeah, the thing about the romance, which I think I already said, was just like it was like 0 to like 100, like that was annoying. The reveals were just, I don't know. I really wanted to love this book and I just really didn't. Like a thing that happens near the end was really cute. Like one of the ways she's like healed or whatever, like her plotline near the end. I did think that was cute because I'm saying a lot of negative things about this book and I did struggle to get through it. But the thing about like Ashley Poston's writing, at least from what I know about reading The 7-Year Slip, which is the only other book I've read, is she does create this like really cozy world. And so like it was very fun to be in this town and to think about the concept. It was very cozy and sweet and cute. I did enjoy that, but just overall I think this book could have been a lot better, and I'm really disappointed that I didn't like it more. I'm thinking 3 stars, and it's only that high because of the coziness in which she puts in her writing. Otherwise, I don't know. Like, it's like I'm so conflicted because it's like it wasn't that bad, but at the same time, I was slogging through it. Like, I did not want to pick up the book and read it. Like, I wanted to finish it. I wanted to know what the reveal was. The reveal was like kind of disappointing, but anyway, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm really conflicted. I had a lot of things I didn't like about the book, but it was was overall cute, and I'm just kind of like, I'm done thinking about it, talking about it. Like, I'm just tired of it. Even not discussing it on camera, I would like discuss the plot like with my boyfriend, because I tell him about every single book I read, and I was like updating him about what was happening in like my theories and my complaints, and we discussed it at length too. And I'm just tired of it, and I don't want to think about this book anymore. So I am moving on to the next book of this video, which is The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. This is the same author that wrote A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which is a trilogy that I love a lot and I've read several times. I have also read her book Five Survive, which I didn't like as much as A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, but I did like, I still like her writing, and it's like I will read every book she writes kind of thing. So I've been looking forward to this one since it came out like in April or something. And I did get my Halloween bookmark out finally, now that it's almost the end of September. And so yeah, this book is about this woman named Rachel Price goes missing when her daughter is like a baby or a toddler, and her daughter is the only person who is the witness. And now her daughter is a teenager, and like Netflix or someone is doing a documentary about her mom's disappearance, and she's like being interviewed for it, and then her mom reappears. So yeah, the book's about that. I'm not really sure anything else about the book. I just know the basic premise of it, and I've been looking forward to this, like I've said. So yeah, I'm really excited to start this one, and I'm hoping I like it a lot more than the last book I read. But yeah, I do have the physical copy. Obviously, I also bought it on my Kindle because I didn't want to buy the physical copy, even though I love the book. I didn't want to spend the money, but then I ended up buying it anyway. So I have both copies, so I'll probably go back and forth between the physical and the ebook, but I am going to start it physically right now, and I'm really excited. It has a little family tree. It's so weird seeing a name with Price that's not Rachel, because I know, like, I've only been hearing the name Rachel Price, so which is not the main character, obviously it's her mother's name, but to see that the main character's name is Annabelle Price, it's like throwing me off that it's not Rachel, even though logically it's not. Does that make any sense? Oh, they have like, it's like IMBD, but it's MDB, maybe like an O. That is so cute.
I reckon.
So
Don't shush me. You shush Bailey. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I have an update for The Reappearance of Rachel Price. I'm on page 278 in the physical copy. It's like that far in it. And then on the Kindle, it is 65% because I've mainly been reading it on the Kindle. And I've had a really bad week, so I don't know if it's affecting how I'm thinking about the book, but I'm definitely having mixed feelings about it so far. I think the part I read this morning, because I read like 15% this morning before work, I feel like I'm starting to enjoy it more now. But like up until now, I'm like interested in the mystery plot, like how her mom, like the story of how her mom disappeared and how she reappeared, and like, is the story Rachel telling the real story? Like, I find all that really interesting. But it's like, I'm not a big fan of the main character, Belle, or any of the characters, really. I don't really feel connected to any of them. And so that's just been kind of hard to read. And I figured out, I think last night or this morning, I had the realization that I feel like this book is if you combined A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and Five Survive, because the like investigation aspect reminds me a lot of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, but then the like, I feel like the writing is a bit more like Five Survive, and I feel like Belle is more like Red in Five Survive than she is like Pip in A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And I feel like that's part of the reason why I'm not liking it as much, because I didn't really like Red that much in Five Survive, but I really loved Pip. And like, I don't know, I'm definitely more into it now after reading it this morning. I just really want to know the story behind the mystery, but I'm just not connected to any of the characters. And if you've read Holly Jackson, you know there's always some kind of romance like subplot, like some kind of guy that the girl has feelings for, has interactions with something, and I'm not really a fan of those interactions in this book. Part of it, I think, is, if I remember correctly, there's a bit of an age gap between them. Thanks, cats. I don't remember what the age gap is, but I do feel like he's a little bit older than her, and she's like a senior in high school, so I don't really like that. Also, their just interactions just like really, really weird. But yeah, I don't know. I am enjoying it, I guess. Just, again, I've had a bad week, so I feel like my mixed feelings are due to that more than the book itself. But like I said, I'm almost done. I plan on finishing it tomorrow, hopefully. I'm trying to see how many pages I have left. Oh, it's over 400. I think it's 430, but I don't want to get a spoiler. So in the physical book, I have just under, I can't math. I have like 160 left or something in the physical book, which, like I said, is like 35% because I've been reading it on my, I've been reading it on the book, the Kindle, and my phone, actually. Yeah, that's my update. I think that's everything I wanted to say. God, this book, it changed my mind. I love it. Oh my God. Okay. So it's the next morning. I finished the book. Ignore how I look. I have done nothing today but read. I read in bed. I got out of bed. I fed the dog. I fed myself. I got on the couch. I read some more. So I'm wearing last night's pajamas. My hair's a mess. Anyway, I finished the book and it was literally insane. So obviously I changed my tune and I ended up really liking the book. It was so wild and twisty, and it's giving the twist of the third Girl's Guide to Murder book. Like not the same twist, but just like how that book, like As Good as Dead, was so jaw-dropping, and it was like something you were like not expecting. Like it felt really different than the other two books. Like it was very dark and just different. That's how the ending of the book was. Just that really dark, unexpected twistiness. Like there were some things I kind of thought were gonna happen, and some of them like did, but I was still blown away by this book. Like I don't know. Like I said, I don't know why I was feeling the way I was earlier, if it was like me or the book, but I definitely really loved the last 30-something%. And I mean, I kind of felt that way when I read Five Survive. Like the ending, like it was like not slow, but just like until I got to the ending. But this ending was way better than that ending. And I feel like the like hints and the threads throughout the book of this one were better than that one. I'm sorry I keep comparing it to her other books, but that's just what I'm doing. The reveals as they were happening, they would bring it up, or you would think back to things that hinted at it earlier in the book, and you were like, oh my God. It was so insane. It was so insane. I love Holly Jackson. I'm so sorry, Siri. Siri's like scared. She's like looking. She's literally like looking around like, what is this noise? I'm just trying to take my nap. But yeah, I love this book. Okay, I'm thinking 4.5 stars because, like I said, the beginning chunk I wasn't like a huge fan of, but the end of it was so freaking insane that so good. So good. I love Holly Jackson. You have to read Holly Jackson. Forever an author. Insane. Just insane. I did read most of it on my Kindle. No, I read a lot of it on my phone because I woke up this morning and it's like a Saturday and I don't have to work today. So I decided to lay in bed for like 2 hours and just read on my phone. I mean, I guess I spent some of that time on social media, but I did read a large chunk of it on my phone this morning. And then once I got out of bed and got to the couch is when I switched to my Kindle. But yeah, like I said, I was bouncing between the book, my phone, and my Kindle. It doesn't matter how I read this book. I don't need to to say that. Anyway, I read the book, 4.5. I really liked it. I'm mad I put it off for so long. And yeah, that's the last book I'm reading in this video. So I read Summer Romance, which I gave 5 stars, a novel love story. Did I give that 3 stars? And then The Reappearance of Rachel Price, which I gave 4.5 stars. I need to reread it, honestly. But yeah, so those are all the new releases that I'm reading in this video. Oddly enough, the one I was looking forward to the least was my favorite, because like I said, I think earlier, the last Annabelle Monaghan book I read I wasn't a huge fan of, so I wasn't super looking forward to Summer Romance, but I ended up really loving that one a lot more than a novel love story, which I was looking forward to that. So you never know what books are going to be really good and what books are you're not going to enjoy. And I just think reading is so special that way, that you can have books on your bookshelf and you never know what's going to be a 5 star or 4.5. Like, you never know what book you're going to really love until you pick it up and read it.